All right. Here we have chapter 5 of The Hate You Give, read for you with permission by Simon & Schuster. On Monday, the day I'm supposed to talk to the detectives, I'm crying out of nowhere, hunched over my bed as the iron in my hand spits out steam. Mama takes it before I burn the Williamson crest on my polo. She rubs my shoulder. Let it out, Munch. We have a quiet breakfast at the kitchen table without Seven. He spent the night at his mama's house. I pick at my waffles. Just thinking about going into the station with all those cops makes me want to puke. Food would make it worse. After breakfast, we join hands in the living room like we always do under the framed poster of the 10-point program, and Daddy leads us in prayer. Oh, see, you have to have schema. They don't even tell you what that is. 10-point program, that's the Black Panthers. It really shows us how militant this father is, right? That he's using this Black Panther. And, you know, that was Huey Newton. He had his picture up, right? So he's definitely an advocate of this way of thinking. Black Jesus, watch over my babies today, he says. Keep them safe, steer them from wrong, and help them recognize snakes from friends. Give them their wisdom. They need to be their own people. Help Seven with this situation at his mama's house and let him know he can always come home. Thank you for Sakani's miraculous sudden healing that just so happened to come after he found out they're having pizza at school today. I peek out at Sakani, whose eyes and mouth are wide open. I smirk and close my eyes. Be with Lisa at the clinic as she helps your people. Help my baby girl get through her situation, Lord. Give her peace of mind and help her speak her truth this afternoon. And lastly, strengthen Miss Rosalie, Cameron, Tammy, and Brenda as they go through this difficult time. In your precious name, I pray, amen. Amen, the rest of us say. Daddy, why you put me on the spot like that with Black Jesus? Sakani complains. He knows the truth, Daddy says. He wipes the crust from the corners of Sakani's eyes and straightens the collar of his polo. I'm trying to help you out. Get you some mercy or something, man. Daddy pulls me into a hug. You gonna be all right? I nod into his chest. Yeah, I could stay like this all day. It's one of the few places where 115 doesn't exist and where I can forget about talking to detectives. But Mama says we need to leave before rush hour. Now, don't get it wrong. I can drive. I got my license a week after my 16th birthday, but I can't get a car unless I pay for it myself. I told my parents I don't have time for a job with school and basketball. They say I don't have time for a car then either. Messed up. It takes 45 minutes to get to school on a good day and an hour on a slow one. Sakani doesn't have to wear his headphones because Mama doesn't cuss at anybody out on the freeway. She hums with gospel songs on the radio and says, "Give me strength, Lord, give me strength." We get off the freeway into Riverton Hills and pass all these gated neighborhoods. Uncle Carlos lives in one of them. To me, it's so weird to have a gate around a neighborhood. Seriously, are they trying to keep people out or keep people in? If somebody puts a gate around Garden Heights, it'd be a little bit of both. Our school is gated too, and the campus has new modern buildings with lots of windows and marigolds blooming along the walkways. Mama gets in the carpool lane for the lower school. Sakani, you remembered your iPad? Yes, ma'am. Lunch card? Yes, ma'am. Gym shorts? And you better have gotten the clean ones too. Yes, Mama. I'm almost 9. Think you can give me some sugar? Sakani leaves over. Can't you give me a little credit? She smiles. All right, big man. Think you can give me some sugar? Sakani leans over the front seat and kisses her cheek. Love you. Love you too. And don't forget, Seven's bringing you home today. He runs over to some of his friends and blends in with the other kids in khakis and polos. We get in the carpool lane for my school. All right, Munch, Mama says. Seven's going to bring you to the clinic after school. Then you and I will go to the station. Are you absolutely sure you're up for it? No, but Uncle Carlos promised it'll be okay. I'll do it. Okay. Call me if you don't think you can make it the whole day at school. Hold up. I could have stayed home. Why are you making me come in the first place? Because you need to get out of the house, out of that neighborhood. I want you to at least try, Star. This will sound mean, but just because Khalil's not living doesn't mean you stop living. You understand, baby? Yeah, I know she's right, but it feels wrong. We get to the front of the carpool lane. Now, I don't have to ask if you brought some funky-ass gym shorts, do I? She says. I laugh. No. Bye, Mama. Bye, baby. I get out of the car. For at least 7 hours, I don't have to talk about 115. I don't have to think about Khalil. I just have to be normal star at normal Williamson and have a normal day. That means flipping the switch in my brain so I'm Williamson star. Williamson star doesn't use slang. If a rapper would say it, she doesn't say it, even if her white friends do. Slang makes them cool. Slang makes her hood. Williamson star holds her tongue when people piss her off so nobody will think she's angry black girl. Williamson star is approachable. No stank eyes, side eyes, none of that. Williamson star is non-confrontational. Basically, Williamson star doesn't give anyone a reason to call her ghetto. I can't stand myself for doing it, but I do it anyway. Okay, this is one of the major themes I'm seeing, right? This theme that we've picked out already, this split identity. Here's a good example of it. You should definitely keep a mark of this spot because we'll want to come back to it, right? This is this idea that she's got two selves. And it's like she has to put on a front at school. That would be exhausting, you know. I know what that's like. I lived in the closet for a long time, so that having to pretend you're something you're not is really challenging. I sling my backpack over my shoulder. As usual, it matches my J's, the blue and black 11s like Jordan wore in Space Jam. I worked at the store a month to buy them. I hate dressing like everybody else, but the Fresh Prince taught me something. See, Will always wore his school uniform jacket inside out so he could be different. I can't wear my uniform inside out, but I can make sure my sneakers are always dope and my backpack always matches them. I go inside and scan the atrium for Maya, Haley, or Chris. I don't see them, but I see that half the kids have tans from spring break. Luckily, I was born with one. Someone covers my eyes. Maya, I know it's you. She snickers and moves her hands. I'm not tall at all, but Maya has to stand on her tiptoes to cover my eyes. And the chick actually wants to play center on the varsity basketball team. She wears her hair in a high bun because she probably thinks it makes her look taller, but nope. What's up, miss? I can't text anyone back, she says, and we do our little handshake. It's not complicated like daddies and kings, but it works for us. I was starting to wonder if you were abducted by aliens. Huh? She holds up her phone. The screen has a brand new crack stretching from corner to corner. Maya's always dropping it. You haven't texted me in 2 days, Star, she says. Not cool. Oh, I've barely looked at my phone since the incident. Sorry, I was working at the store. You know how crazy that can get. How was your spring break? Okay, I guess. She munches on some Sour Patch Kids. We visited my great-grandparents in Taipei. I ended up taking a bunch of snapbacks and basketball shorts, so all week long I heard, why do you dress like a boy? Why do you play like a boy sport? Blah, blah, blah. It was awful when they saw a picture of Ryan. They asked if he was a rapper. I laugh and steal some of her candy. Maya's boyfriend, Ryan, happens to be the only other black kid in 11th grade, and everybody expects us to be together. Because apparently when it's just two of us, we have to be on some Noah's Ark type shit and pair up to preserve the blackness of our grade. Lately, I'm super aware of BS like that. We head for the cafeteria. Our table near the vending machines is almost full. There's Haley sitting on top of it, having a heated discussion with curly-haired, dimpled Luke. I think that's foreplay for them. They've liked each other since 6th grade, and if your feelings can survive the awkwardness of middle school, you should stop playing around and go out. Some of the other girls from the team are there too. Jess, the co-captain, and Britt, the center, who makes Maya look like an aunt. It's kind of stereotypical that we all sit together, but it worked out that way. I mean, who else will listen to us bitch about swollen knees and understand inside jokes born on the bus after a game? Chris's boys from the basketball team are on the table next to ours, egging Haley and Luke on. Chris isn't there yet. Unfortunately, and fortunately. Luke sees me and Maya reaches his arms toward us. Thank you. Two sensible people who can end this discussion. I slide onto the bench beside Jess. She rests her head on my shoulder. They've been at it for 15 minutes. Poor girl. I pat her hair. I have a secret crush on Jess's pixie cut. My neck's not long enough for one, but her hair is perfect. Every strand is where it should be. If I were into girls, I would totally date her for her hair, and she would date me for my shoulder. What's it about this time, I ask. Pop-Tarts, Britt says. Haley turns to us and points at Luke. This jerk actually said they're better warmed up in the microwave. Ew, I say, instead of my usually ill. And Maya goes, are you serious? I know, right? Says Haley. Jesus Christ, Luke says. I only asked for $1 to buy one from the machine. You're not wasting my money to destroy a perfectly good Pop-Tart in a microwave. They're supposed to be heated up, he argues. I actually agree with Luke, Jess says. Pop-Tarts are 10 times better heated up. I move my shoulder so her head isn't resting on it. We can't be friends anymore. Her mouth drops open and she pouts. Fine, fine, I say, and she rests her head on my shoulder with a wide grin. Total weirdo. I don't know how she'll survive without my shoulder when she graduates in a few months. Anyone who eats up a Pop-Tart should be charged, Haley says, and imprisoned, I say, and forced to eat uncooked Pop-Tarts until they accept how good they are, Maya adds. It is law, Haley finishes, smacking the table like that settles it. You guys have issues, Luke says, hopping off the table. He picks at Haley's hair. I think all that dye seeped into your brain. She swats at him as he leaves. She's added blue streaks to her honey blonde hair and cut it shoulder length. In 5th grade, she trimmed it with some scissors during a math test because she felt like it. That was the moment I knew she didn't give a shit. I like the blue, Hales, I said, and the cut. Yeah, Maya grins. It's very Joe Jonas of you. Haley whips her head around so fast, her eyes flashing. Maya and I snicker. So there's a video deep in the depths of YouTube of the 3 of us lip syncing to the Jonas Brothers and pretending to play guitars and drums in Haley's bedrooms. She decided she was Joe, I was Nick, and Maya was Kevin. I really wanted to be Joe. I secretly loved him the most, but Haley said she should have him, so I let her. I let her have her way a lot, still do. That's part of being Williamson's star, I guess. I so have to find that video, Jess says. No, Haley goes, sliding off the tabletop. It must never be found. She sits across from us. Never, never. I remember that account's password. I'd delete it. Oh, what's the account's name? Jess asked her. Joe Bro Lover or something? Wait, no, Joe Bro Lova. Everybody likes the misspell shit in middle school. I smirk and mumble. Close. Haley looks at me. Star. Maya and Britt crack up. It's a moment like this I feel normal at Williamson. Despite the guidelines I put on myself, I've still found my group, my table. Okay then, Haley says. I see how it is. Maya Jonas and Nick's Starry Girl 2000. So Hales, I say before she can finish my old screen name. She grins. How was your spring break? Haley loses her grin and rolls her eyes. Oh, it was wonderful. Dad and stepmother Dearest dragged me and Remy to the house in the Bahamas for family bonding. And bam, that normal feeling, gone. I suddenly remember how different I am from most of the kids here. Nobody would have to drag me or my brothers to the Bahamas. We'd swim there if we could. For us, a family vacation is staying at a local hotel with a swimming pool for a weekend. Sounds like my parents, says Brett. Took us to fucking Harry Potter World for the 3rd year in a row. I'm sick of butterbeer and corny family photos with wands. Holy shit, who the fuck complains about going to Harry Potter World? Or butterbeer? Or wands? I hope none of them ask about my spring break. They went to Taipei, the Bahamas, Harry Potter World. I stayed in the hood and saw a cop kill my friend. I guess the Bahamas wasn't so bad, Haley says. They wanted us to do family stuff, but we ended up doing our own thing the entire time. You mean you texted me the entire time, Maya says. It was still my own thing. All day, every day, Maya adds, ignoring the time difference. Whatever, Shorty, you know you like talking to me. Oh, I say, that's cool. Really, though, it's not. Haley never texted me during spring break. She barely texts me at all lately. Maybe once a week now, and it used to be every day. Something's changed between us, and neither one of us acknowledges it. We're normal when we're at Williamson, like now. Beyond here, though, we're no longer best friends. Just, I don't know. Plus, she unfollowed my Tumblr. She has no clue that I know. I once posted a picture of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black boy who was murdered for whistling at a white woman in 1955. His mutilated body didn't look human. Haley texted me immediately after, freaking out. I thought it was because she couldn't believe someone would do that to a kid. No, She couldn't believe I would reblog such an awful picture. Not long after that, she stopped liking and reblogging my other posts. I looked through my followers list. Ah, Hales was no longer following me. With me leaving 45 minutes away, Tumblr is supposed to be sacred ground where our friendship is cemented. Unfollowing me is the same as saying, I don't like you anymore. Maybe I'm being sensitive, or maybe things have changed. Maybe I've changed. For now, I guess we'll keep pretending everything is fine. The first bell rings. On Mondays, AP English is first for me. Haley and Maya. On the way, they get into a big discussion turned to argument about NCAA brackets in the Final Four. Haley was born a Notre Dame fan. Maya hates them almost unhealthily. I stay out of that discussion. The NBA is more my thing anyway. We turn down the hall and Chris is standing in the doorway of our class, his hands stuffed in pockets and a pair of headphones draped around his neck. He looks straight at me and stretches his arm across the doorway. Haley glances from him to me, back and forth, back and forth. Did something happen with you guys? My pursed lips probably give me away. Yeah, sort of. That douche, Haley says, reminding me why we're friends. She doesn't need details. If someone hurts me in any way, they're automatically on her shit list. It started in 5th grade, 2 years before Maya came along. We were those crybaby kids who bust out crying at the smallest shit. Me because of Natasha, and Haley because she lost her mom to cancer. We rode the waves of grief together. That's why this weirdness between us doesn't make sense. What do you want to do, Star? She asks. I don't know. Before Khalil, I planned to cold shoulder Chris with a sting more powerful than the 90s R&B breakup song. But after Khalil, I'm more like a Taylor Swift song. No shade, I fucks with Tay-Tay, but she doesn't serve like 90s R&B on my angry girlfriend scale. I'm not happy with Chris, yet I miss him. I miss us. I need him so much that I'm willing to forget what he did. That's scary as fuck, too. Someone I'd been with for only a year means that much to me. But Chris, he's different. You know what? I'll Beyonce him. Not as powerful as a 90s R&B breakup song, but stronger than a Taylor Swift. Yeah, that'll work. I tell Haley and Maya. I'll handle him. They move so I'm between them like they're my bodyguards, and we go to the door together. Chris bows to us. Ladies, move, Maya orders. Funny, considering how much Chris towers over her. He looks at me with those baby blues. He got a tan over break. I used to tell him he was so pale he looked like a marshmallow. He hated that I compared him to food. I told him that's what he got for calling me caramel. It shut him up. Damn it, though. He's wearing the Space Jam 11s, too. I forgot we decided to wear them on the first day back. They look good on him. Jordans are my weakness. I can't help it. I just want to talk to my girl, he claims. I don't know who that is, I say, Beyoncing him like a pro. He sighs through his nose. Please, Star, can we at least talk about it? I'm back to Taylor Swift because the please does it. I nod at Haley and Maya. You hurt her and I'll kill you, Haley warns, and she and Maya go into class without me. Chris and I move away from the door. I lean against a locker and fold my arms. I'm listening, I say. A bass-heavy instrumental plays in his headphones, probably one of his beats. I'm sorry for what happened. I should have talked to you first. I crock my head. We did talk about it a week before, remember? I know, and I heard you. I just wanted to be prepared in case. You could push the right buttons and convince me to change my mind? No. His hands go up in surrender. Star, you know I wouldn't. That's not... I'm sorry, okay? I took it too far. Understatement. The day before Big D's party, Chris and I were in Chris's ridiculously large room. The 3rd floor of his parents' mansion is a suite for him, a perk of being the last born to empty nesters. I try to forget that he has an entire floor as big as my house and hired help that looks like me. Fooling around isn't new for us, and when Chris slipped his hand in my shorts, I didn't think anything of it. Then he got me going, and I really wasn't thinking at all, for real. My thought process went out the door. And right when, as I was at that moment, he stopped, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a condom. He raised his eyebrows at me, silently asking for an invitation to go all the way. All I could think about was those girls I see walking around Garden Heights, babies propped on their hips. Condom or no condom, shit happens. I went off on Chris. He knew I wasn't ready for that. We already talked about it, and yet he had a condom? He said he wanted to be responsible, but if I said I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I left his house pissed and horny, the absolute worst way to leave. My mom may have been right, though. She once said that after you go there with a guy, it activates all these feelings and you want to do it all the time. Chris and I went far enough that I noticed every single detail about his body now. His cute nostrils that flare when he sighs, his soft brown hair that my fingers love to explore, his gentle lips and his tongue that wets them every so often, the 5 freckles on his neck that are the perfect spots for kissing. More than that, I remember the guy who spends almost every night on the phone with me talking about nothing and everything, the one who loves to make me smile. Yeah, he pisses me off sometimes, and I'm sure I piss him off, but we mean something. We actually mean a lot. Fuckity fuck, fuck. I'm crumbling. Chris. He goes for a low blow and beatboxes an all too familiar boom, 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 boom. I point at him. Don't you dare. Now, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. He beatboxes the instrumental and pops his chest and booty to the rhythm. People pass us by, laughing. A guy whistles suggestively. Someone shouts, "Shake that ass, Bryant." My smile grows before I can stop it. The Fresh Prince isn't just my show, it's our show. Sophomore year, he followed my Tumblr, and I followed him back. We knew of each other from school, but we didn't know each other. One Saturday, I reblogged a bunch of Fresh Prince gifs and clips. He liked and reblogged every single one. That Monday morning in the cafeteria, he paid for my Pop-Tarts and grape juice and said, the first Aunt Viv was the best Aunt Viv. It was the beginning for us. Chris gets the French Prince, which helps him get me. We once talked about how cool it was that Will remained himself in his new world. I slipped up and said I wish I could be like that at school. Chris said, "Why can't you, Fresh Princess?" Ever since, I don't have to decide which star I have to be with him. He likes both. Well, the parts I've shown him. Some things I can't reveal, like Natasha. Once you've seen how broken someone is, it's like seeing them naked. You can't look at them the same anymore. I like the way he looks at me now, as if I'm one of the best things in his life. He's one of the best things in mine, too. I can't lie. We get the "why is he dating her" stare that usually comes from rich white girls. Sometimes I wonder the same thing. Chris acts like those looks don't exist. When he does stuff like this, rapping and beatboxing in the middle of a busy hall just to make me smile, I forget about those looks too. He starts the second verse, swaying his shoulders and looking at me. The worst part? His silly butt knows it's working. In West Philadelphia, born and raised. Come on, babe, join in. He grabs my hand. 115 follows Khalil's hands with the flashlight. He orders Khalil to get out with his hands up. He barks at me to put my hands on the dashboard. I kneel beside my dead friend in the middle of the street with my hands raised. A cop as white as Chris points a gun at me. As white as Chris. I flinch and snatch away. Chris frowns. "Star, you okay?" Khalil opens the door. "You okay, Star?" Pow. There's blood. Too much blood. The second bell rings, jolting me back to normal Williamson, where I'm not normal Star. Chris leans down, his face in front of mine. My tears blur him. "Star?" It's a few tears, yeah, but I feel exposed. I turn to go into class, and Chris grabs my arm. I yank away and whirl on him. His hands go up in surrender. Sorry, I wipe my eyes and walk into the classroom. Chris is right behind me. Haley and Maya shoot him the dirtiest looks. I lower myself into the desk in front of Haley. She squeezes my shoulders. That jackwad. Nobody mentioned Khalil at school today. I hate to admit it because it's like throwing him the middle finger, but I'm relieved. Since basketball season is over, I leave when everybody else does. Probably for the first time in my life, I wish it wasn't the end of the day. I'm that much closer to talking to the cops. Haley and I trek across the parking lot arm in arm. Maya has a driver to pick her up. Haley has her own car, and I have a brother with a car. The two of us always end up walking out together. "Are you absolutely sure you don't want me to kick Chris's ass?" Haley asked. I told her and Maya about Condom Gate, and as far as they're concerned, Chris is eternally banished to asshole land. "Yes," I say for the 100th time. "You're violent, Hales. When it comes to my friends, possibly. Serious, though. Why would he even..." God, boys and their fucking sex drive. I snort. Is that why you and Luke haven't gotten together? She lightly elbows me. Shut up. I laugh. Why won't you admit you like him? What makes you think I like him? Really, Haley? Whatever, Star. This isn't about me. This is about you and your sex-driven boyfriend. He's not sex-driven, I say. Then what do you call it? He was horny at that moment. Same thing. I try to keep a straight face, and she does too. But soon we're cracking up. God, it feels good to be normal, Star and Haley. He has me wondering if I imagined a change. We part at the halfway point to Haley's car and Seven's. The ass-kicking offer is still on the table, she calls to me. Bye, Haley. I walk off, rubbing my arms. Spring has decided to go through an identity crisis and get chilly on me. A few feet away, Seven keeps a hand on the car as he talks to his girlfriend, Layla. Him and that damn Mustang. He touches it more than he touches Layla. She obviously doesn't care. She plays with the dreadlock near his face that isn't pulled into a ponytail. Eye roll worthy. Some girls do too much. Can't she play with all them curls on her own head? Honestly, though, I don't have a problem with Layla. She's a geek like Seven. Smart enough for Harvard, but Howard bound, and real sweet. She's one of the 4 black girls in the senior class, and if Seven just wants to date black girls, he's picked a great one. I walk up to them and go, Seven keeps his eyes on Layla. Go sign Sakani out. Can't, I lie. Mama didn't put me on the list. Yeah, she did. Go. I fold my arms. I'm not walking halfway across campus to get him and halfway back. We can get him when we're leaving. He side-eyes me, but I'm too tired for all that, and it's cold. Seven kisses Layla and goes around to the driver's side, acting like that's a long walk, he mumbles. Acting like we can't get him when we're leaving, I say, and hop in. He starts the car. This nice mix Chris made of Kanye and my other future husband, J. Cole, plays from Seven's iPod deck. He maneuvers through the parking lot traffic to Sakani's school. Seven signs him out of his after-school program, and we leave. I'm hungry, Sakani whines, not even 5 minutes out of the parking lot. Didn't they give you a snack in after school? Seven asks. So, I'm still hungry. Gree butt, Seven says, and Sakani kicks the back of his seat. Seven laughs. Okay. Ma asked me to bring some food to the clinic anyway. I'll get you something too. He looks at Sakani in the rearview mirror. Is that cool? Seven freezes. He turns Chris's mix off and slows down. What'd you turn the music off for? Sakani asks. Shut up, Seven hisses. We stop at a red light. A Riverton Hills patrol car pulls up beside us. Seven straightens up and stares ahead, barely blinking and gripping the steering wheel. His eyes move a little like he wants to look at the cop car. He swallows hard. Come on, light, he prays. Come on. I stare ahead and pray for the light to change too. It finally turns green and Seven lets the patrol car go first. His shoulders don't relax until we get on the freeway. Mine neither. We stop at this Chinese restaurant Mama loves and get food for all of us. She wants me to eat before I talk to the detectives. In Garden Heights, kids play in the streets. Sakani presses his face against my window and watches them. He won't play with them, though. Last time he played with some neighborhood kids, they called him White Boy because he goes to Williamson. Black Jesus greets us from a mural on the side of the clinic. He has locks like Seven. His arms stretch the width of the wall, and there are puffy white clouds behind him. Big letters above him remind us that Jesus loves you. Seven passes Black Jesus and goes into the parking lot behind the clinic. He punches in a code to open the gate and parks next to Mama's Camry. I get a tray of sodas. Seven gets the food, and Sakani doesn't take anything because he never takes anything. I hit the buzzer for the back door and wave up at the camera. The door opens into a sterile-smelling hall and the bright white walls and white tiled floors that reflect us. The hall takes us to the waiting room. A handful of people watch the news on the old box TV in the ceiling or read magazines that have been there since I was little. When the shaggy-haired man sees that we have food, he straightens up and sniffs hard as if it's for him. What y'all bringing up in here? Miss Felicia asks at the front desk, stretching her neck to see. Mama comes from the other hallway in her plain yellow scrubs, following a teary-eyed boy and his mom. The boy sucks on a lollipop, a reward for surviving a shot. There go my babies, Mama says when she sees us. And they got my food, too. Come on, let's go in the back. Save me some, Miss Felicia calls after us. Mama tells her to hush. We set the food out on the break room table. Mama gets some paper plates and plastic utensils that she keeps in a cabinet for days like this. We say grace and dig in. Mama sits on the countertop and eats. Mm-mm, this is hitting the spot. Thank you, Seven Baby. I only had a bag of Cheetos today. You didn't have lunch? Sakani asks with a mouthful of fried rice. Mama points her fork at him. What did I tell you about talking with your mouth full? And for your information, no, I did not. I had a meeting on my lunch break. Now tell me about y'all. How was school? Sakani always talks the loudest because he gives every single detail. Longest. Seven said his day was fine. I'm as short with my, it was all right. Mama sips her soda. Anything happen? I freaked out when my boyfriend touched me, but nope, nothing. Miss Felicia comes to the door. Lisa, sorry to bother you, but we have an issue up front. I'm on break, Felicia. Don't you think I know that? But she's asking for you. It's Brenda, Khalil's mama. My mom sets her plate down. She looks straight at me when she says, stay here. I'm hard-headed, though. I follow her to the waiting room. Miss Brenda sits with her face in her hands. Her hair is uncombed and her white shirt is dingy, almost brown. She has sores and scabs on her arms and legs, and since she's real light-skinned, they show up even more. Mama kneels in front of her. Bren, hey. Miss Brenda moves her hands. Her red-rimmed eyes remind me of what Khalil said when we were little, that his mama had turned into a dragon. He claimed that one day he'd become a knight and turn her back. It doesn't make sense that he sold drugs. I would have thought his broken heart wouldn't let him. My baby, his mama cries. Lisa, my baby. Mama sandwiches Miss Brenda's hands between hers and rubs them, not caring that they're nasty looking. I know, Bren. They killed my baby. I know. They killed him. I know. Lord Jesus, Miss Felicia says from the doorway. Next to her, Seven puts his arms around Sakani. Some patients in the waiting room shake their heads. But Bren, you gotta get cleaned up, Mama said. That's what he wanted. I can't. My baby ain't here. Yes, you can. You have Cameron and he needs you. Your mama needs you. Khalil needed you, I wanted to say. He waited for you and cried for you. But where were you? You don't get to cry now. It's too late. But she keeps crying, rocking and crying. Tammy and I can get you some help, Bren, Mama says. But you gotta really want it this time. I don't want to live like this no more. I know, Mama waves Miss Felicia over and hands Miss Felicia her phone. Look through my contacts and find Tammy Harris's number. Call and tell her that her sister is here. Bren, when was the last time you ate? I don't know. My baby. Mama straightens up and rubs Miss Brenda's shoulder. I'm going to get you some food. I follow Mama back. She walks kind of fast, but passes the food and goes to the counter. She leans on it with the back to me and bows her head, not saying a word. Everything I wanted to say in the waiting room comes bubbling out. How come she gets to be upset? She wasn't there for Khalil. You know how many times he cried about her? Birthdays, Christmases, and all that? Why does she get to cry now? Star, please. She hasn't acted like a mom to him. Now, all of a sudden, he's her baby? It's bullshit. Mama smacks the counter and I jump. Shut up, she screams. She turns around, tears streaking her face. That wasn't some little friend of hers. That was her son. You hear me? Her son. Her voice cracks. She carried that boy, birthed that boy, and you have no right to judge her. I have cotton mouth. Mama closes her eyes. She massages her forehead. I'm sorry. Fix her a plate, baby, okay? Fix her a plate. I do, and put a little extra of everything on it. I take it to Miss Brenda. She mumbles what sounds like thank you, and she takes it. When she looks at me through the red haze, Khalil's eyes stare back at me, and I realize my mom is right. Miss Brenda is Miss Khalil's mama, regardless.